Taurus, welcome to your rest of 2026 AstroHouse Deep Dive reading. So the way it's structured, all along the top here, I have the houses in astrology, but this is not an astrology reading, it's a tarot reading. And so I'm doing a tarot reading for each astrology house, so covering all of the areas of your life. I do have the zodiac signs underneath, starting with the sign of Taurus. So that's really only applicable if you're a Taurus rising. This reading in general, because it's a tarot reading for the topics of the house, your sun, your moon, your rising, Venus, stellium, north node, whatever it is that you normally watch from a reading standpoint, also applicable here. So I do want to call that out. And so diving in, we're going to start with the first house, which is all about who you are. So it's your identity, your self-image, your appearance, your natural approach, and it's really how people perceive you the first time that they meet you. And so if you are a Taurus rising, then Taurus first house. And so Taurus is all about stability, security, patience, sensuality, and perseverance. And so let's dive in and let's get your overall energy for the rest of 2026 for your first house. So I've got the Hanged Man here. Looking at the big picture is coming through, but this is also kind of a paused energy, so there may be delays, but it's more of perspective change. Needing to see everything before you take any action. The Fool. Where do you want to go when it comes to a new beginning? Because it feels like here, the pause is connected to you kind of planning for your next steps, figuring out what path is going to get you where you want to go. I've got the Nine of Cups showing up here as well. So Nine of Cups, it's emotional fulfillment, your goals, your dreams, your wishes, everything here. And so any kind of delay, because I have another card of delay, Three of Wands, it's more of, I just want to make sure I'm choosing the right path. Let me take a look around, observe everything before I take any action. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for your first house. Knight of Wands. So it's taking action. Five of Cups from a different point of view. And so the Five of Cups, sadness, disappointment, loss, anything here that you're trying to work through. So it's getting out of the Three of Cups spilled over, stepping into emotional balance. It feels like that is part of the work that you're doing in the Hanged Man. It's giving yourself that different perspectives. What action do I want to take here? Hermit, a lot of deep thinking, reflecting, maybe even healing. And then I get the King of Wands showing up here. So it's more of, I just want to be sure of the action that I'm taking before I take it. That's really how this is coming through. The change in approach is showing up. So Five of Cups, because it's an obstacle or a challenge. If you're currently working through something, that can also be part of the delays that are showing up in the overall energy, but it's more of, I just want to make sure that I'm not repeating past mistakes or I'm not falling back into an old behavior pattern here. That's the change that I'm picking up with that Five of Cups. It's, I don't want to act from the wounded place. I want to act from the emotionally stable, grounded, balanced place. So let's get the advice for you. Strength card, Leo energy. So finding the strength and courage to go after what you want. Two of Swords, standing at a crossroads. I don't know what to do. So that kind of, I'm standing at a crossroads. I need insight and clarity. That's the Hanged Man. That's the Five of Cups. It's, I want to be sure of myself. I need to see the direction that I'm going. And that's really the perspective the Hanged Man gives you, because it's kind of giving you that 360 view of the entire situation so that you are able to make a decision here. And so with that, I'm getting the Judgment. So that resurrection, that rebirth. And so you might be currently undergoing some sort of change. We'll see how that change, transformation, we'll see how it plays out throughout the reading. But it's this, I'm stepping out of the Two of Swords. So I'm going from indecision to clear decision with the Judgment. This is somebody here who can see it all, makes up their mind, follows through. There's no hesitation here. It's that Phoenix rising. I've learned from my experiences. I know where I'm going. So Taurus, that is your first house. And so the next house, it's known as the house of I have. So it's all about your values. It's your finances, your possessions, your self-worth, security, your material stability. So that's all part of the second house. And if you're a Taurus rising, it's going to be in the sign of Gemini. And so Gemini is all about communication, curiosity, adaptability, intelligence, and versatility. So let's get your overall energy for your second house for the rest of 2026. Ace of Cups, new beginning, but it's an emotional opening. Three of Pentacles, teamwork, collaboration. So relationship building here. And then I get the Nine of Cups. So Ace of Cups to Nine of Cups showing up here for the rest of the year with some building in between. This feels like whatever you are working towards, whatever goals that you've set for yourself, there's a lot of happiness connected to it. And so this could be value. You could be, because finances are a part of this, you could be working with a financial advisor or maybe anybody here that can help you financially achieve something here that you want. So this could be, I mean, there's a broad spectrum of the way that this could play out for you, but I am getting a very strong sense working with an outside person is coming through. Sometimes I get the Three of Pentacles as working with your higher self. This actually feels like there's somebody external that's helping you to navigate maybe your finances or really kind of help you focus on what you love and value so that you're building in that direction, working towards those goals. So let's get any obstacles or challenges here for your second house. Hanged Man. So any kind of pause or delay, giving you a chance to look at the big picture. So we saw that in your first house as the overall energy. So it could be that in the first house where you're kind of taking a minute, observing everything before you take any kind of action, this could be some of the action that you're looking at from that point of view. So it's not really an obstacle, but it's a different perspective. It's helping you to see the path that you need to take in order to achieve that emotional fulfillment. I've got the Nine of Pentacles showing up here as well. And so the Nine of Pentacles, it's growth, it's abundance. And then I've got the Six of Pentacles, that card of generosity. So this is about you opening up to what you want. The only thing that's coming through here as kind of an obstacle, but not really an obstacle, is a Hanged Man. And that's really the perspective shift that showed up in the first house. It's helping you identify whatever path you want to take here, because this house is focused on growth and abundance. This is all about what you love and value. And we can already see that you're taking action to build in the direction of your goals, your dreams, and you're already opening up to it with the Ace of Cups. And now it's just showing up here with the Six of Pentacles. So now, because the obstacles are showing up as Pentacles energy, the 6 and the 9, this could be like the practical application of these goals and dreams. Like you have to put in some energy and effort. That doesn't feel like it's an obstacle. It's more the work that you need to do in order to have that happiness, in order to achieve this success. So what is the advice here for you? Temperance, all things in moderation. It's divine timing. It's kind of letting things play out in their natural timing, but it's also acting from a place of balance. And so here with that Hanged Man energy, because of the shift in perspective, it's balancing yourself out first. Hermit, so kind of thinking, reflecting, even healing with this Virgo energy. And then I get the Hierophant. And so this is your card coming through. So it's stabilizing first in whatever it is that you're seeing in that Hanged Man perspective. Then it's taking action. It's kind of doing this work up front that leads to a later result. So this doesn't feel like it's going to happen right away, but I don't feel that you're going to be waiting the entire 6 months to go after what you want. I feel like it's just this perspective shift. And when you feel more grounded and balanced, then you're going to take some sort of action. You're going to open up, build with another person, and work towards that 9 of Cups. And so that is your second house, Taurus. And so the next house is the third house. And so the third house is all about communication, learning, siblings, your thought patterns, your local environment. So think of the community around you, your neighborhood, things like that. That's all part of the third house. It's also any kind of commute by car, so that's short distance travel. And so if you are a Taurus rising, this is going to be in the sign of Cancer. And so Cancering is nurturing, protection, intuition, emotional intelligence, and loyalty. And so let's get your overall third house for the rest of 2026. Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is your energy. This is a card of stability, focusing on long term. I've got the 9 of Wands coming through, so the wounded warrior. So where I was picking up the shift in perspective in your first house, it feels like you're working through something internally, because this is your thinking, your processing, your communication. So this is you kind of working through whatever this wound is to stabilize yourself. I'm getting the King of Cups. King of Cups feels like whatever this healing journey looks like for you, it feels like you're going to achieve that success of the King of Cups, meaning that you're going to be close to either closing it out or you will close it out over the next 6 months, the rest of the year. Let's get the obstacles and challenges here, because I'm picking up something with timing. So let's get the obstacles. Timing came out. So I've got the 6 of Cups, that card of nostalgia, but this is really about reconnecting with yourself. And so the work that you're doing already from the healing process, the change in perspective, that's all the work to do to kind of reconnect you with yourself. Then I get the Ace of Cups, which allows for opening, allows for growth. And then I get the Wheel of Fortune, divine timing. And so the way that this is kind of coming through, we already saw goals and that kind of emotional fulfillment in your second house. And now here, I'm actually picking up the wound, and the divine timing of it all is connected to you opening up, being able to pursue those goals, because we had the Ace of Cups in your overall energy for the second house, and it's showing up here as an obstacle, but connected to timing. And so because the overall energy is really connected to you working through whatever this wound is, when you're ready, that's when this wheel turns in your favor, opens up the pathway. Ace of Cups, you're ready to open up to it. You're ready to pursue it. You feel more grounded, established, emotionally balanced, all of those things. So let's get the advice here for your third house. So I've got the 7 of Cups here, which can be that confusing, overwhelming energy. But again, you're working through a wound. So if there's a lot kind of hitting you all at once, or you're just feeling a little bit emotionally overwhelmed, it's kind of sorting through all of that. Queen of Wands, take whatever action helps you to kind of identify what is taking place, what you need to address. Because I get the Queen of Swords with it. And this Queen of Swords has a lot of butterflies around her. So all about transformation. So this is, I see the issue. I need to work through it. I'm going to gain the insight, the clarity that I need through my action. I'm going to be able to release it here with the Queen of Swords. This is all the advice. And then Five of Swords. The Five of Swords, it's a shift again. And so this is resolving an internal conflict. But I'm almost getting like a shedding energy out of this, where you're releasing something. You are releasing something, because the King of Cups, it feels like you hit the completion point at some point here in the remainder of the year. The Five of Swords, because it's the Seven of Cups and the Five of Swords, it feels like I see the problem. It's right in front of me. I need to do something about it. So I'm going to address it. And as I'm working through it, I'm kind of shedding as I go. That's the Queen of Swords energy. But I also get the same sense with the Five of Swords, like you're helping to find the head and heart alignment, create the balance within yourself, resolve that internal conflict of the disconnect. Let's see how this plays out in future houses here. The next house is the house of home. So it's your home, it's your family, your roots, your private life, your emotional foundation, your ancestry. So everything from where you live now, the location, the dwelling, to where you grew up, all of those things are really part of the fourth house because they help shape you. And so this is the fourth house card. And so it's in the sign of Leo, again, if you're a Taurus rising. And so Leo is all about confidence, creativity, generosity, leadership, self-expression. And the one significant thing to note, so on July 26th, we will have the nodes changing signs. So right now we've got the North node in the sign of Pisces and it's moving into Aquarius. We have the South node in the sign of Virgo moving into Leo. So we got our first kind of glimpse as to what this eclipse season is going to look like back in February with that eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. And so here, Leo, fourth house, this is going to be the South node. The South node is all about past patterns. It's your comfort zone, karmic tendencies, and familiar behaviors. It's a card of release. Card is probably not the right word. So it's closing out the patterns, closing out the cycles, making space for something new. So let's get your overall fourth house for the rest of 2026. Five of Pentacles, so leaving something behind, leaving it out in the cold. So Six of Wands, success and victory. This could indicate maybe a move if you're looking to change locations or something along those lines, because the Five of Pentacles is, I'm ready to let this go. Six of Wands, I'm seeing success and victory. I'm kind of moving on. I'm moving forward. And I get the Eight of Pentacles here. So it could be connected to work in some capacity. Take that as it resonates. It feels like it's a very specific message. If it's not about change in home, like moving to a new location, moving into a different house, apartment, whatever the case is, this also feels like it's the work that you're already doing because of the transformation that we're already picking up on. This is the release, and a successful release based on all the work that you're putting into it. Your fourth house is really just, again, your private life. So it's kind of you at home, on your own, with family, whatever the case is, but you're away from the rest of the world. That gives you time to work through all of this. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here. Temperance, Sagittarius, it's all about emotional balance. the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, it's your card, but it's your belief system, your values. It's kind of reconnecting with yourself. Page of Wands, taking action. So this is really coming through as overall, here's the work that you're doing to let go of whatever needs to be released. Then it's kind of reconnecting with yourself, acting from a place of balance, and then moving on. This almost feels like it's an evolution. This doesn't feel like it's an obstacle or challenge. It's more of like what comes after the release of the past or the release of whatever it is that you're on the verge of releasing. I don't feel like it's going to take that long for you to embrace that Five of Pentacles and shed something here. So let's get the advice for your 4th house. Ten of Cups, focus on your long-term happiness here. It's a marriage card, so take that as it resonates, but it's really about you embracing long-term emotional fulfillment. Knight of Cups, going after what you want. And the World, closing out the old cycle. And so this really almost feels like it's an evolution. Your overall energy is the closing out. It's the I'm ready to let something go and I do it. And I'm better for having let this go. That's the World. Now that opens up a pathway for you to be balanced. Focus on yourself, take that action that aligns with what you want. So it's almost reading like an evolution as opposed to here's the energy, here's the obstacles, and here's the advice. The advice would really be stay the course, keep doing what you're doing, and just embrace this change and the transformation. And so the next house is the 5th house. And so the 5th house is all about creativity, pleasure, romance. So romance being any kind of relationship that doesn't lead to marriage, joy, self-expression, children. It's that kind of playful, anything that you enjoy doing outside of work is really part of the 5th house. And it's in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is discernment, precision, service, practicality, and improvement. And so let's get the overall energy for the 5th house for the rest of 2026. Justice, Libra energy of balance, but then I get the new beginning card. So there's a brand new opening, but it starts with balance. And there's the movement with the Chariot, success and victory. So whatever it is that you're doing, I don't feel like it's going to take you that long to close out the transformation, open yourself up to something new. It feels like when you're ready, things start progressing because of the divine timing that showed up earlier with the Hanged Man, the Wheel of Fortune, things like that. But it's this balanced new beginning that allows for movement, allows for success in your house of creativity and fun. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for you in your 5th house. Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is that self-imposed prison of the mind. So the thinking, the overthinking. Then I get the Tower, that breakthrough. Two of Wands, it allows you to see everything. So there's something here that is blocking your vision. Eight of Swords, kind of coming through like a devil energy. So it's creating these limitations. It doesn't allow for you to see what you need to see because it's keeping you out of balance, out of alignment. And once that is removed by the Tower, it feels like now you're able to see where you want to go. That's when all of this kind of comes into play. And so I have another divine timing card with the Tower showing up in your obstacles and challenges. So it's when you're ready, things open up. You're able to see and choose the path for you. So let's get the advice here for you, Taurus, in your 5th house. Ace of Wands, taking action, taking initiative here. So new beginning. Queen of Wands, feeling inspired and motivated, but I'm getting a sense of feeling ready because the Fool is showing up here. And so the Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands, it feels like when you're ready, move forward. Hermit, after a period of maybe even reflecting and healing. It's Virgo. The Hermit creates the balance. That allows for you to open up to the new beginning and take whatever action you need to take or feel ready to take. It's really coming down to timing. It's when you're ready, everything opens up and then you're going to embrace it. But you've got a new beginning showing up here. So let's see how that plays out too. Because the next house is your house of daily life, daily routines, like your health, your fitness, just anything that you do on a regular basis is part of the 6th house, as well as work. So any kind of service, just in general, your habits, your health, all of those things. And so any time that you spend on your 5th house, like the things that you enjoy doing would be part of your 6th. And so this is the 6th house card. And it's in the sign of Libra. And so Libra is harmony, diplomacy, fairness, partnership, and balance. And so let's get your overall 6th house for the rest of 2026. Ace of Swords, clarity and release. There's something that's changing in your daily life. 8 of Pentacles from all the work that you're doing. So this could be a change in your work-life balance. 7 of Wands, you advocating for yourself. There's something here that's shifting and changing, but it's you standing up for yourself, kind of pushing back against whatever's trying to monopolize your time or absorb a lot of your time here, because it's coming through as a daily routine. So the way that your life is structured may be changing here a little bit, but it's changing because of what you're advocating for. You're pushing for more in a specific area. Let's see what else we get here. Let's get the obstacles and challenges. That might give us more context. Wheel of Fortune, divine timing. So this is that positive turn of events. 6 of Cups, that card of nostalgia. So reconnecting with yourself, the emotional balance. And the Knight of Pentacles, pursuing what you want. So having a plan and putting it into place. All of this feels like it's connected to the transformation because, again, we have divine timing with the Wheel of Fortune. And it feels like when you feel more solid in who you are and you're ready to make some sort of necessary change, it's the 7 of Wands. It's I'm going to advocate and push back against anything trying to influence me or get me into a different track or whatever the case is here. Because there's something about, no, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to make space for it. That's how it's coming through. So let's get the advice here for you, Taurus. Four of Swords, healing, stability. So giving yourself time to rest, recover, and heal. Ace of Cups, then opening up to what you want. So Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, this is where it feels like the clarity, the release, because you're going through some sort of healing process, the transformation. And then when you're ready, you're going to let something go. Seven of Wands, you're really going to advocate for this. And then the universe is saying, open up to what you really want. Make more time, more space for this. Two of Wands, it's whatever you're seeing, wherever that growth looks like. Because the Two of Wands is, I can see an opportunity on the horizon. I want to pursue it. And I'm getting ready to go after it. So you're taking all of these steps in order to pursue something meaningful. And the universe wants you to kind of move in that direction. It's kind of encouraging this. And so Taurus, that is your 6th house. And so the next house is the 7th house, and it's all about how you relate to other people. So all of your one-to-one significant relationships are part of this house. So it includes marriage, partnerships. It also includes contracts, negotiations, things like that. And so this is the 7th house card. And it's in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is all about transformation, depth, intimacy, power, resilience. So let's get your overall 7th house for the rest of 2026. The Empress, so that Venus energy of harmony, balance, alignment. It's also the ruler of relationships showing up here in your house of one-to-one connections. I get the Ace of Wands, so taking new action here in those significant relationships. 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is releasing burdens, pressures, responsibility. So if there was something here that was slowing the relationship down, almost like a stall, because it feels like something got like hit a plateau where you're not really seeing any movement, but you want movement. Something here is coming into alignment and you're going to release the burdens, the responsibilities, let go of that pressure, whatever holds the relationship back. That allows for an opening because the 10 to the Ace of Wands, you're releasing for a new beginning. But as you're prioritizing the relationship here and what really matters, could be one relationship specifically, or it could be several in your life. It really kind of will vary from person to person here. But I do get a sense that something is shifting and changing. And when you release whatever is holding you back, whatever's holding the relationship back, then you're going to see progress and movement. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for your 7th house. The Devil, Capricorn, limitations and restrictions. That's going to be the 10 of Wands. Whatever's holding this relationship back shows up here as the Devil energy. 4 of Wands, a reason to celebrate. This is a marriage house. And so it could be that there's a block in the connection or a block that's affecting the connection here. The Sun. But the Sun is illumination. So seeing things as they are, focusing on growth. And so there's a shift and a change that's taking place. Because I've got the ending and the new beginning all showing up in the overall energy. And I'm getting a little bit more clarity around, okay, there's something here holding the relationship back. Could be patterns, behaviors, like something here repeating that needs to be changed. But I do feel like the Sun highlights this, that you've already received some sort of visibility around this. You can already see the pattern for what it is, and you're ready to do something about it. Because that Empress is also a card of transformation. So let's get the advice here for your 7th house. the world, closing out the old pattern, the old cycle. Whatever you're releasing, you're encouraged to let that go. Hanged Man, any kind of pause or delay is giving you a chance to look at the big picture here. It's about pattern identification and what could be holding this relationship back. Now, we saw the Hanged Man in your first house, your house of self. And so now it looks like whatever perspective you gained around you, maybe even what you value, is showing up here again in your 7th house. And so this is, I see the pattern for what it is. I recognize what needs to be done. I want to break the pattern. I want to close that out. I want to incorporate all those lessons so I don't find myself right back in that cycle. Ace of Cups, so I can have something new. And so this is really what the universe is encouraging you to do. It's address the pattern so that it's not blocking the relationship, because I'm getting that plateau energy. So you might feel like things are moving, but they're just moving really slow, or you're not making a lot of progress. This is, let's clear that up. There's a pattern connected to it that needs to be addressed. I feel like you will, because both the ending and the new beginning are showing up in the overall energy. And so the next house is the 8th house, and it's the house of transformation. So it's death and rebirth, it's shared resources. So if you're married, it would be your spouse's income, would also be income from an outside source like an employer, kind of wills, inheritance, things like that as well. But it's intimacy, power, and really the big theme here is transformation. Because we're already seeing transformation in your reading. So let's see. How about I show you the card first? So this is the 8th house, that transformation. And it's in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is exploration, wisdom, optimism, freedom, and truth. And so let's get your overall 8th house for the rest of 2026. Ace of Pentacles, new beginning, but it's a tangible new beginning. So whatever you're transforming, it's making space for you to build what you want, something that's meant to be long lasting. Then I get the Emperor showing up. And so that Aries energy of structure, stability, this kind of solid foundation. I know my worth and value and I'm going to stick to it. This actually feels like I'm picking you up at the end of the transformation where you feel just stronger and more confident. You're determined to have this new beginning. And then I get the 6 of Cups, that card of nostalgia, the emotional balance here. And so this, whatever it is that you're kind of doing right now, it's stepping you into Emperor energy. It's stepping you into this place of confidence and willful determination, leadership. So what are the obstacles and challenges here for your 8th house? Eight of Cups. So it's walking away from anything that doesn't serve you. That's part of the transformation, and your overall energy in the house of transformation was kind of the completion point. 7 of Pentacles, investing in yourself and your future. This is really evaluating everything as you go. So making sure that your decisions, your actions align with the direction that you're taking. 6 of Pentacles, that card of generosity. So starting from a place of balance. Now I'm ready to open up and pour myself into whatever this is that I decide to go after. So it's not really coming through as obstacles or challenges, but these feel like they're connected to the transformation that you're currently undergoing. And because your overall energy is really more of the other side, the new beginning side of it all, this is what you're doing in order to get there. So let's get the advice for your 8th house. Six of Wands, success and victory. So overcoming obstacles and challenges. again, connected to the transformation. And then these two cards are really connected to it. So I've got the devil energy. So the pattern, the behavior, whatever would hold you back, whatever blocks your progress. I've got the tower showing up here. The tower is the universe saying, okay, you're ready to let this go. You're ready to break the pattern, the cycle. You're ready for the new beginning, but you're also ready for something solid, that solid foundation, that emperor energy, without these kind of limitations and restrictions of the devil. The advice is really to keep doing what you're doing because of the way that this is all kind of flowing out. You're getting guidance and assistance from the universe. It's the release of the devil that allows for the emperor, allows for you to open up to something new. So that's your 8th house, Taurus. And so the next house is the 9th house. And so the 9th house is all about beliefs, higher learning, travel, wisdom, philosophy, and expansion. And so travel here would be anything by plane, whereas like 3rd house was more of that local community. This is long distance travel. And it's in the sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn is discipline, responsibility, ambition, mastery, and structure. And so let's get your overall 9th house for the rest of 2026. So what I'm getting here is the 7 of Swords. Now the 7 of Swords can be lies, manipulation, deceit. And this is a house where you're actually seeking wisdom. And so here there could be missing pieces of information. It doesn't have to be that somebody's lying to you or manipulating you by withholding significant facts. When I asked more about that, what I got was the 7 of Wands. It's kind of recognizing that there's information missing and then going after it, advocating for yourself here. But then I get the Lovers here, Gemini. It's all about the choices that you make. And so it's choosing to find this information. Justice card, because it's all about balance here, that Libra energy. And then I get the Hermit. It's part of the healing process. Because the transformation has been kind of, I would say, a stronger theme throughout this reading, this actually feels like as you're kind of going through, figuring out where you want to go, you're stepping into growth and expansion. But really, where do you want to go after the transformation? Because it feels like what this is all about is picking up whatever information gives you the clarity that you need so that you can decide, but decisions from a place of balance. You're not just deciding for the sake of deciding. It's, I kind of want to sit with everything. I want to close out the transformation, balance myself out. That's all part of the Hermit, the healing energy. But then the Justice is the one that makes the decision. This is where I want to go now. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for your 9th house. King of Wands is coming through with strength and confidence. So it's taking action. Knight of Cups to go after what you want. 9 of Cups, more of the same. So emotional fulfillment. This is more of when you're ready to take action, you will. This is getting you to the place of taking action. So it's showing up as an obstacle because if you try to take action too soon, you wouldn't have all the information available. You would still be trying to find and maybe even process some of that missing information as you learn it to find your balance here. So it feels more like a timing mismatch. Because I don't get the sense that you're going to act until you are in that Libra energy of justice, until you feel grounded and balanced. Then you'll take action pursuing what you want. So let's get the advice here for your 9th house. I've got the Emperor coming through. So it's standing tall, confident in your own energy. So that Aries energy again of strength, confidence, solid foundation. The Fool, creating the new beginning. And Page of Swords, gaining the information that you need. So the Page of Swords really helps you to understand the missing pieces, helps you get to the bottom of it. So what all do I need to know that I'm not currently seeing or has not yet been made available? And so the Page of Swords is going to ask all those detailed questions to make sure that you're getting all that information. That's going to help you go through this transformation, step into that Emperor energy. That creates the new beginning here with the Fool. It's going to be different than what you've experienced because you're not the same person. Transformation is coming through a lot here in this reading, but when it comes to where you want to go, because it is the house of I seek, it's you're seeking information that's going to benefit you moving forward, that helps you in the transformation process, the healing process, to balance and ground yourself so that you're able to move on. And so the next house is the 10th house, and it's all about achievements. So it is your career and public reputation, but it's also the achievements that you've had throughout your life, your success, your legacy. So it's your authority, your legacy, and your life direction, as well as your career and public reputation, your public life. And so it's in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is innovative, a visionary individual, humanitarian, and all about progress here. And so let's get your overall 10th house for the rest of 2026. King of Wands, so taking action, but this is bold, authoritative type of action that I'm picking up. Then I get the Knight of Wands, no hesitation. I'm ready, I'm going for it. Temperance, I'm balanced, I'm grounded, I'm stable. It's that Sagittarius energy. In fact, everything here is all about fire. You're balancing yourself out. You're feeling more confident, more driven and motivated to take whatever action this Knight of Wands wants to take. Again, that feels like it's on the other side of your transformation. So let's see what shows up here from the obstacle standpoint. Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands here, taking action, but that's impulsive action. That's not the kind of action that you're taking here with the King. Knight of Swords, making a decision and going for it. And the Magician, what do you want to build? The only thing that's coming through is the way that you're acting. I get you more grounded and stable with the King than I do with like a Knight or a Page energy that's showing up here. The Magician is, I've got a plan, I'm putting it into place. I want to manifest, I'm going to work towards this. And I feel like that's the direction this Knight of Wands is taking in the overall energy. It has a plan, it knows what to do, and then goes for it. So let's get some additional advice here, because we had one card pop out before I said it. So for your 10th house. So I've got the Moon, which is all about your emotions. The Sun. So the Sun is illuminating something here that you couldn't see. And whatever it is that you're seeing, the Sun, the Moon, could be connected to how you feel, could be connected to that missing piece of information that we saw in the 9th house, where you were kind of Seven of Swords, something was missing. Page of Swords and the advice, go for it, go searching for that information. It feels like here with the sun and the moon, you might get the insight and the clarity that you need. You might need to go within for that information. It may not all be external. I get the Hanged Man. And so the Hanged Man is that pause or delay, giving you a chance to kind of take it all in. Okay, what do I do with all of this? How do I figure out what my next steps are? How do I get myself into that King energy? How do I choose the path that gets me where I want to go? So the Magician, Knight of Wands, and then also focusing here on your balance. These are all very heavily interconnected. And it feels like, because this is your career or public reputation, so again, even if you're not working, because there's success and legacy and achievement connected to it, it feels like whatever information that you're picking up, that you're learning about yourself or the next direction that you want to take, you're taking it all in and you're acting on it. I don't get any hesitation. Once you see it, you're ready to go. And so the next house here, it's the 11th house. So it's the house of friendships, community, networks, aspiration, collective goals, and future vision. And so when you think about your groups of friends, it's you in relation to your groups of friends, your community, your friends here, as opposed to the individual relationships, which would be the 7th house, those significant one-to-one connections. And so here, the 11th house, Pisces. And so Pisces is compassion, intuition, imagination, spirituality, and empathy. I'll hold it a little bit closer and a little bit longer. And so the big thing to note is we do have the nodes, like I mentioned earlier, changing signs. And so right now, up until July 26th, the nodes are in the sign of Pisces and Virgo. So North Node in Pisces moving into Aquarius. And so with the North Node, it's I evolve. So it's all about growth, purpose, expansion, new experiences, and destiny path. And so that's actually moving into your career or public reputation. So all the work that you're doing, everything that you see is showing you, okay, this is where you go next. So let's get into your house of community and friendships first. Let's see what's showing up here in your overall energy. So there's something here. I was picking that up when I was reading the North Node card. So there's something about like you're closing out a cycle in your friends. I get the Queen of Swords. And so the Queen of Swords, it's clarity, it's release. But I also feel like it's connected to your public life because these two houses right now feel very heavily connected for you. And so whatever it is that you're ready to let go of is going to have an impact in both houses. I've got the Lovers showing up here, that Gemini energy of choice. So choosing which relationships move forward. I get the Judgment, resurrection, and rebirth. I'm getting a lot of refinement. I can see things as they are right now. Queen of Swords. I know what needs to be brought forward. I know what I'm ready to kind of grow or keep in my life. Lovers, I'm making that decision. Judgment, resurrection, and rebirth. And so it feels like it's connected to your transformation, that whatever's changing within you and the way that you're looking at your friends and your groups of friends and how you interact with them, it does feel like you might be letting some of those go. You could also be expanding them because the Lovers can either be a contraction or an expansion depending on what you decide, because the Queen just has that clarity to say, I see it for what it is. Now I need to do something about it. The Judgment is going to be you in this transformed version doing something about it. So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for your 11th house. Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, ready to take action. Queen of Cups, I'm getting emotional empathy, but it's that loving, nurturing, supportive. And then I get the Hierophant. So the Taurus energy coming through, very loud for you. So there's something about, it's the Judgment card, but it's the transformation, because you're kind of recapturing pieces of yourself with this energy, because the Hierophant is all you, that Taurus energy. Queen of Wands, I feel good about the action that I want to take. I feel better about myself emotionally with that Queen of Cups. And so now it's Queen of Swords. I have the discernment. I know exactly what I need to do. I see it all for what it is. Okay, so let's get the advice here for your friends. Well, it's you in relation to your friendships. Five of Pentacles is a release. So there is something here that's shifting and changing that you're letting go of. Knight of Swords in order to pursue something else. And Ten of Wands. This all feels like it's connected to your transformation, but there's some sort of clarity that's also coming through. The clarity is around you, what you want, your needs and desires. So even going back to just this emotional well-being, the Queen of Cups, you taking care of your emotional needs feels like you might be evaluating your friends to see, is this really a friendship I want to continue? Is this a group of friends that I want to continue at this level? Maybe they change in priority, whether they become more significant, less significant. Because here it feels like what you're doing is you're releasing any kind of burdens or pressure. You're encouraged to release anything here that's slowing you down, holding you back. It's the Ten of Wands specifically that you're meant to free yourself. Could be obligations, responsibilities. Knight of Swords, I'm ready, I'm anxious, I want to move forward. I want to be lighter and more available to whatever I decide, whatever pursuit I decide to take. Yeah, I'm trying to tap into what this really means for your groups of friends. So I'm picking up a lot of shifting and changing, but I feel like in some aspects, some friend groups might be more significant and then others might become less significant, or maybe just you disconnect altogether, because that's what this feels like here, because it's connected to your transformation. So whatever it is that you're learning about yourself and what really works for you, what kind of friendships align with your emotional well-being, those are the ones that you're going to carry forward. If there's friend groups that you, or friends specifically that have been holding you back, I feel like you're not going to hold on to those friends, or they're going to not be as prominent in your life. Let's get into the 12th house here. So that 12th house, it's the I surrender, but it's really about your subconscious, your unconscious. It can be escapism, dreams, things like that. It's spirituality. It's solitude. So when you're thinking about your transformation, we've got the 8th house. So that's directly death and rebirth. But then we've also got the 12th house here. And this is kind of you away from everybody else. So where 4th house, like that's my retreat, that's my sanctuary, my home environment. You may not be living alone. 12th house is no, this is me on my own, in my own kind of dream world, things like that. And so the 12th house, because it's the subconscious and solitude, it's healing, it's hidden patterns, it's endings. And so there's things that will show up here in the 12th house that kind of help you identify what this transformation looks like for you. And it's in the sign of Aries. So Aries is all about initiative, leadership, courage, action, independence. And so let's get your overall energy for the 12th house for the rest of 2026. Page of Wands is taking action or initiative. Page of Swords, based on whatever this information is. So the 12th house, because it's that house of spirituality. I feel like this is an internal knowing that something is missing. So where earlier, and it was your 9th house where we saw that 7 of Swords, where pieces of information just weren't readily available. This indicates here you may know that. Intuitively, you may recognize that something here is missing. It doesn't feel right. It's not passing that kind of rational test of making sense. And so there's something about 10 of Pentacles. Could be about a marriage, a relationship, or just long-term goals, long-term happiness and success here. But what I'm getting is you're taking some sort of initiative or action to gain more information to help you identify where you want to go in the long run. Because earlier in the reading, we had a lot of aces and some Fool energy showing up, but specifically the Ace of Pentacles. What do you want to build and grow? This is helping you to gain that information so that you can figure out what your next steps are. But this is all done like internal for you, not really cluing anybody else in as to what is taking place here. So your transformation, but it's more about your evolution. Where do you want to go next? So let's get the obstacles and challenges here for your 12th house. Death card, transformation, endings, and new beginnings. King of Cups, emotional healing. And the Hermit. I mean, this is really a house very similar to the Hermit. You're kind of isolating yourself, going within, really doing all this work. So this doesn't feel like it's obstacles and challenges. It actually helps you to identify that there is a missing piece of information that you need to go find. And that helps you identify where you want to go next with that 10 of Pentacles. And so the evolution, because it's an increase in clarity. So as you continue to lean into the change, you start to see things more and more. You start to understand not only what you need to release, but maybe what else is missing, what else you need to know, because we had the Hanged Man show up a lot here in the reading as well. And so that different approach or the different perspective helps you to see, okay, well, what do I do with all this information? What's the benefit? How do I use this to my advantage? So let's get the advice here for the 12th house. So I'm getting the Empress here, Venus, all about harmony, balance, alignment. It's a card of transformation. Then I get the Four of Pentacles, building a solid foundation, holding on to everything that you have. So the best thing that you can do is learn what you need to learn, focus on you, focus on your own stability. Then I get the Emperor. So I have the Emperor and the Empress showing up here from an advice standpoint, along with your solid foundation. So this is really completing that transformation, taking all those lessons in. But it's the integration of your masculine and feminine energies. It's allowing you to be as balanced as you can be so that you're able to see everything. You're able to make decisions on where you need to go, what steps you need to take. This is strong energy. There's something significant about the shift and the change that's taking place in your foundation. I just feel like more solid, more grounded as you move on. So what we're going to do now, Taurus, is we're going to pull any last messages, and I'll shuffle those off camera. Let's get any last messages for you for the balance of 2026. King of Cups. So go through the healing process, really make that a priority. Then I get the King of Wands and then act from the healed version of you. And so I get the King and the Queen of Wands showing up here. They're divine counterparts, but this is really coming through as your energy, and it's the masculine and feminine integration that comes through the healing process. This allows you to take that action that you feel good about, that you feel like this is meant for me, this is where I'm supposed to be going. That's what I'm getting here. But it all stems from the healing and the transformation process with the King of Cups. So Taurus, this is your AstroHouse Deep Dive reading for the rest of the year. I do hope it resonates. And if it did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Take care.